there are 50 days for CGL 2026, and at this point of time, majority of us are scoring at around 30 to 35 in English, whereas the desired score for English is around 45 plus. So in this video, we will talk about how to push our scores from 30 to 45 plus, and for that purpose, we will pick up each of the sections, that is vocabulary section, reading comprehension, cloze passage and parajumble section, and also grammar section, and we will understand all the bottlenecks that we face in these three sections and come up with a perfect plan and drills to push the scores in these three sections. And to do that, I want to take a minute and I want to compare 2025 papers with the previous year papers so that we can understand the change. See, till 2024, English papers used to be very easy. But one broad and bottom line change that happened with respect to English is the length of the questions and the style of the words of English paper has changed. And there is one phenomenal standard pattern that I have observed across all the papers, all the subjects. That is, in your SSC exams, now CHSL MTS papers are relatively easy and they are at one particular level. Steno papers and CPO papers are slightly at a higher level, and CGL phase papers, especially phase graduation papers, are difficult compared to the other three sections. This is one bottom line change. Now we will compare specifically with respect to English, and I would like to start this process with vocabulary. See, earlier in vocabulary section, the words were standard. If you can pick up books such as Kiran's or something, and if you can learn the standard PYQ words, that is more than enough. The words used to repeat a lot. But now, the major change with respect to vocabulary, especially in graduate level papers, is there are a lot of new words and these are random words. It is not practically possible to find these word lists in any of the standard and common books. So there are decent number of new words that they are asking, and along with the new words, there are homonyms. There is a lot of focus on homonyms, and a certain new style of idioms and phrases are also being asked. This is one change that happened with respect to vocabulary. And the other change is, even in spellings also, they're asking you multi-syllable based spellings, etc. Now, what's happening with respect to grammar? See, with respect to grammar, earlier the questions were direct. You could eliminate certain options. Voice narration questions were smaller and you can handle easily. But now, the change in grammar is not with respect to the rules. The rules of the grammar are still the same, but the statement length has increased. Especially in voice, there is a focus on past perfect continuous tense. Usually, most of the teachers and most of the aspirants skip this particular tense. But there are a lot of questions that they're asking on past perfect continuous tense. And there is a pattern of mixing narration in voice. So there is a mix of narration and voice conversion based questions also. Similarly, even in narration, that is direct indirect speech, also there is a change, that is there are conditional inversions, that is the first, second, third conditionals being placed in the direct indirect speech sentences. So basically in voice and narration, the change is statements became lengthy and they're clubbing two different concepts of grammar in voice and narration questions. And with respect to grammar, as I told you, the rules are still same. The same top 100, 120 rules, the rules are perfect. But the change is the length of the sentence improvement question. There are multiple clauses in those questions. For example, this is a spotting error question which is of around 4 lines. And this is a question from CGL 12 September shift 1. And in this sentence, if you can pause and read this sentence, you have multiple subjects. And this is a subject-verb agreement question. So the length of the sentence has increased, because of which you have more number of clauses and your subject is hidden, hint words are hidden, and this makes this spotting error activity time-consuming activity. And there is decent focus on the topics of subject-verb agreement, subjective conjunctions, mood, nouns and parallelism topic. Now the last section, very important section, score booster section of English, that is reading comprehension, cloze test and passage. So with respect to RC, Cloze Test and Parajumbles, the change is earlier it used to be direct and easy language. It used to be story type passages, simple to read, direct questions, etc. But now the first change is write-up has changed. Your CGL syllabus copy specifically says editorial style of language in English RCs, and that syllabus copy is being followed both in letter and spirit. So the style of write-up has become editorial style of writing, and they're asking you inference-based questions. They're asking you what is the tone of the author, what can you infer from this statement, and the tone of the author questions are also specific and academic in nature, and they're asking you to identify the types of clauses in RCs. Similar write-up style is being implemented in close passages and parajumbles also. They're giving you academic style of writing, and they're taking up domain-specific close passages, domain-specific parajumbles. For example, parajumbles based on some DNA, genetic material, AI, cloud computing. So they're using subject-specific academic style write-ups with respect to parajumbles. So these are the changes. Now, I'll give you a perfect strategy to handle all these three sections very effectively, and I'm going to call this the Thrishool strategy, because I will give you three-pronged approach to handle these papers. But before giving you the three-pronged approach, I want to show you certain numbers. The numbers is about the number of questions that were asked in each of these sections in CGL 2025 and CPO 2025. Of all these numbers, there is one specific thing that I want you to focus upon, that is number of questions being asked in closed test. See, closed test 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, but the actual activity starts here. See, in some shifts there are 5 questions, 5 questions, 5, 5, 5 as in one closed passage. So do not ignore the topic of closed passage. In some sets, some papers, there are closed passage questions. So there will be questions on closed passage. And based on all these numbers and all these analysis, the predicted composition for CGL 2026 Tier 1 with respect to English will be as follows. You'll have around 8 to 9 vocab questions, which includes everything: synonyms, antonyms, one-word substitutes, homonyms, idioms and phrases, everything. Then you'll have 1 to 2 spotting error questions, 1 to 2 sentence improvement questions. You'll have voice, RC, close test. As I told you, do not take a risk on this topic. You'll have narration, parajumbles and fill in the blanks. And this would be the pattern for Steno 2026. So to handle this entire paper, I will give you the Thrishool strategy, and the first prong of this strategy is with respect to vocabulary. The major challenge that we have with respect to vocabulary is new and random words. Please understand, no vocabulary book list can give you the complete list of possible random words, and it is not practical to mug up any dictionary. So the right way to handle this is a root word based approach. You need to know the root words, understand the words that can be framed with respect to the root words, and for that purpose, the best book that you have is WordPanm ADC. This is a brilliant book that teaches you to learn vocabulary with the help of root words, and this breaks the conventional approach of mugging up the words. So the foundational step number 1 that will help you to handle more than 4 to 5 questions out of 8 to 9 questions in your paper is WordPanm ADC, and this thick sized book, and I taught this entire book in less than 8.5 hours of content spanning into 21 classes with an average duration of around 15 to 20 minutes per class. So the first step to handle your vocabulary is WordPanm ADC. And once you are perfect with respect to WordPanm ADC, I'll give you one drill that you have to do and one resource that you can use. The drill is, once you complete the entire WordPanm ADC, make a list of all root words that you have learnt. And every day, pick up 2 or 3 root words, give it to ChatGPT or any other AI, and ask this AI to bring different kinds of words possible on this root word. And at this exercise, your objective is not to mug up the words. Your objective is identify the root word. Ask the AI to bring up mixed sets of words, identify the root word, try to guess the meaning. So at this step, you will be equipping yourselves to handle random questions, to handle new words very effectively. And along with that, you should also prepare the list of all words that were asked in 2025 so that the chances of repetition can be handled with extreme ease. And for that, you have 83 WordDrop documents. All these WordDrop documents are prepared based on the lines of WordPanm ADC, and these WordDrop documents are available in this free material. So for vocabulary, step number 1, master the root words from WordPanm ADC. Step 2, do drills to identify new words using the root words and practice from the WordDrop documents. This, I'm sure you will handle all vocabulary questions, and when you're doing this, all the new bigger words, try to learn the spellings also with the help of syllables so that your spellings problem is solved. Now in vocabulary, the other section that is left out is homonyms and idioms and phrases. Ideally, by the time of recording of this video, I've actually planned to come up with a list of all good new homonyms and idioms and phrases that were asked in 2025. But my wedding is planned on this Saturday, and because of that, I'm completely occupied. So I couldn't prepare that list. But in the next week, I will prepare that list and I will update it on the Telegram channel, and that list will be enough for you to handle homonyms, idioms and phrases also. So this is with respect to vocabulary. First prong is done. Now we will talk about the second prong, that is grammar. See, grammar is the easiest of all. Vocabulary, you need to spend more time because around 40% of your paper is vocabulary. But grammar is easiest of all. The foundation rules, top 120 rules, it is still the same. And we prepared the top 120 rules document using the 2025 question papers. And that document is for free. You can download it from free material. The first step is learn from top 120 rules. But as a part of multiple mentorship sessions and multiple interactions, one thing that I've understood is, for majority of the aspirants, the problem in spotting errors is not about marking the rule. The problem is you will face difficulty in identifying the rule in the first place. So for that, we came up with a solution. In Siddhi, you have a 75-day hard challenge in which we have given you 34 practice sheets of English. Each of the sheet has covered 3 rules, and there I came up with a new and innovative exercise called rule sorting exercise. So there you will be given certain number of questions, and your job is to identify the right kind of rule. If you can master the art of identifying a rule in a sentence, trust me, you will never make a mistake with respect to spotting errors. So for errors, step number 1, learn foundation top 120 rules. Second, do rule sorting exercise, and along with that, practice 2025 PYQ spotting errors. And where can you handle this? Wait till the end, I'll tell you where you will get these questions. So the steps are 75-day document, you are doing rule sorting exercise, and then you are practicing 2025 PYQs. And if your time still permits, use AI and 2025 questions so that you can practice similar kind of questions that are in the question bank of SSC. A similar kind of approach you're following for RC, Cloze Passage and Parajumbles also. But especially for RCs, I want you to spend around 3 to 4 hours in learning 3 things. Number 1, types of clauses. Second thing is inference type questions and tone of other questions. Give a couple of hours, learn these 3 things, and then you are ready to handle RC questions. But for RC questions, or for that matter, any of the lengthy questions, the skill that is needed is reading skill. Please understand, when you are reading a sentence, you don't have to read every word of the sentence. You can skip the words and you can read it faster, yet comprehend it very effectively. And this will save a lot of time for you in the exam. So to handle RCs, Cloze Tests and Parajumbles, or for that matter, the entire English paper very effectively, one standard activity that I want you to do for the next 50 days is read daily. Spend 30 minutes of your time on reading. This will indirectly give you a boost of around 5 to 6 marks. Do this diligently. I'm sure you'll thank me later on this. And to do this daily reading exercise, read the current affair dossier, because your syllabus copy says editorial styles of write-up, newspaper style of writing. So we are picking up the best possible articles of a newspaper and we are preparing the CA dossier daily. Read the daily dossier, learn the topics of types of clauses, inferences, and author's tone of author-based questions. And then for RC, Cloze Test and Parajumbles, the strategy is simple. Practice 20-25 PYQs, and if your time permits, use AI and go for a similar strategy. So all in all, the summary for this Thrishool strategy is: number 1, vocabulary, root-based learning and root-based identification of words drill. This will help you handle around 8 to 9 questions, which sums up to around 15 to 16 marks. The next thing is RC, Cloze Test, Parajumbles and reading exercises. This will help you to handle another 15 to 20 marks, and the final 15 marks you will obtain by handling the top 120 rules document and practicing rule sorting exercises. And where will you get all these resources? Let me tell you. The first and the most important resource to handle all these things is an ebook. We have prepared a proper ebook, and at this point of time I'm supposed to show that, but because of the busy that I'm in, we could not complete the entire document for you to show. But by the time you watch this video, the document would be ready. The document will have all 2025 CGL questions and CPO questions of vocabulary, grammar, spotting error, sentence improvement, RC, voice, Cloze Test, narration and parajumbles. So this ebook is a golden resource that you can use to practice the questions of 2025. And how do you get it? Simple. You need to register in Siddhi app, and in store you have Siddhi free materials. Once you buy or enroll in Siddhi free materials for free, there you have a free materials section that you will get in your learn page. And in this you have English section. You can download this PDF from English section and implement the Thrishool strategy very effectively. I'm pretty sure you will score 45 plus out of 50. For effective implementation of this is give 25 to 30 minutes of your day for reading. That will definitely boost your scores, and I'm sure you will gain 50 out of 50 in English as well. All the best. Siddhi to sadhidam.